Ladies and gentlemen, please remain upstanding for the 6th President of Pitzer College, Dr. Melvin Oliver. Welcome. Please be seated. Welcome on this beautiful morning when the sun comes through the clouds in more ways than one. Welcome to the inauguration and installation of Melvin Oliver as Pitzer College's 6th president. Welcome to our many distinguished guests and delegates from other colleges and universities. Welcome to our many visitors from near and far, from our sister colleges here in Claremont, the many folks who are here from Santa Barbara, and people who have come from as far away as Karachi, Pakistan. And welcome to the faculty, staff, students, alumni, and board of Pitzer College. My name is Nigel Boyle. I've taught at Pitzer for 25 years. I'm honored to serve as Melvin Oliver's Vice President for Academic Affairs and Dean of this wonderful faculty, most of whom are tugged out in their regalia here this morning. I'm the first of 17 people who will speak from this podium this morning. Our program is supposed to last 90 minutes. You'll be pleased to hear that I'm an experienced soccer referee, well used to refereeing 90-minute games. I forewarn our speakers that in the event of time wasting, I shall brandish the yellow card. And in the event of any altercation breaking out among our speakers, I will have no compunction in sending them back to the robing tent. My comments on timekeeping apply to 16 of the 17 speakers behind me. My boss, Melvin Oliver, can speak for as long as he likes. That's all by way of saying that my introductions for some very distinguished people here on the podium today will be brief to the point of curt, so please excuse that. But to give the invocation today, it's my honor to introduce Dr. Leon Wood, the Protestant chaplain in the Claremont College's wonderful interfaith chaplaincy, Protestant, Catholic, Jewish, and Muslim. Please welcome Dr. Leon Wood.
Thank you very much. Would you please bow your heads with me for a moment? Most magnificent Creator God, we gather as your people have gathered throughout history to acknowledge your lordship and your mutual dependence, ours on you for life and all that sustains it. We thank you for the freedom to meet together, to speak our beliefs and to worship you. We thank you for the companions and mentors who equip us for the journey of learning and the challenges of living our faith responsibly and honestly. On this day in particular, we thank you for your skilled servant, Dr. Melvin L. Oliver, whom you have brought here to serve us with energy, intelligence, imagination, and love. May we not forget that each of us, staff, students, and faculty, has been called and uniquely gifted by you to serve alongside President Oliver, guided by his leadership. May our unity as we learn, teach, and relate to one another bring honor to your name. Above all, God, we pray that you would not cling selfishly, that we will not cling selfishly to the heritage and beauty of this community, but that your Spirit would mobilize us to share our riches with the entire world as an act of praise to your character and your mighty works. You have given us so much, O Creator God. Give us one thing more. Grant us thankful hearts, full of love for each other. In this we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Dr. Wood. The first greeting today comes from the Pitzer Board of Trustees in the form of Shahan Sahikian. As a student at Pitzer in the late 1970s, Shahan was a hell-raising punk rocker. And there's photographic evidence over in the Pitzer archive for this. But he went on to a great career in venture capital and technology investment, including with JP Morgan, before co-founding Panorama Capital. Shahan has been on the board since 2005, and this is his 3rd year as board chair. Please welcome Shahan Sahikian.
I didn't wear these during the punk rock era. Thank you for that. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, let me extend our warm welcome to all members of the Pitzer community, faculty, alumni, students, parents, staff, friends, and fellow trustees, many of whom I'm serving with today. And to our special guests, including college and university delegates from around the world who've come here today to share in this very special occasion. Over the past few months, as we've worked with Dr. Oliver, we've come to know him as a man of patience, empathy, courage, discipline, thoughtfulness, vision, and understanding. Dr. Oliver comes to Pitzer armed with a full quiver of personal and professional experiences tailor-made for the challenges and opportunities we face not only here on our campus, but on the national stage. His quiver also contains a not-so-secret weapon, his wife and life partner, Suzanne Oliver, whose exuberance and support have been warmly embraced by the Pitzer community. We are fortunate and honored that Dr. Oliver has chosen to lead this next chapter of the Pitzer journey. Several years ago, I was profoundly moved by, of all things, an advertisement for the Cleveland Clinic. The ad opens with a quote from Henry David Thoreau, which reads, "Could a greater miracle take place than for us to look through each other's eyes, if only for an instant?" It continues with glimpses of patients and families, administrators and staff moving around a hospital, and each person has a thought bubble over their head depicting what is in their mind at that very moment. A diagnosis of cancer, a new child on the way, relief from a positive result from a scan, or a lingering pain from a car accident that won't go away. Everyday people experiencing wildly different emotions and moments because their life's lens has been impacted by things beyond their control. It concludes with a simple message. If you could stand in someone else's shoes, hear what they hear, see what they see, and feel what they feel, would you treat them differently? Dr. Oliver brings such a perspective to Pitzer. He listens and seeks to understand. He calls on his many years of teaching, public service, academic excellence, and thoughtful leadership to solve difficult problems in a fair and balanced way. We are ever mindful of our place in higher education at Pitzer and the drumbeat of our motto, Provida Futuri, mindful of the future. We are confident that under Dr. Oliver's careful leadership, we will continue to advance the mission and values of the college while maintaining our commitment to a robust liberal arts education. We are immensely proud to call Dr. Melvin Oliver our president, and we thank you, one and all, for sharing today's ceremony with us.
Thank you, Shahan. To give the greeting from delegates from other colleges and universities, I'm delighted to welcome Henry T. Yang, the 5th Chancellor of the University of California, Santa Barbara, from whom, of course, we stole Melvin Oliver. Please welcome Chancellor Yang.
Good morning. I'm honored to be here on this momentous occasion to bring you greetings and well wishes on behalf of our colleagues in academia. I stand before you as Chancellor of UC Santa Barbara, President Oliver's former institution, to witness with great pride and joy the investiture of an esteemed college and a dear friend. Not unlike UC Santa Barbara, Pitzer College is a vibrant academic community that places tremendous value on an interdisciplinary education, social responsibility, environmental sustainability, and diversity and inclusion. Ranked among the nation's top liberal arts and sciences colleges, this dynamic campus will undoubtedly continue with excitement to flourish under the leadership of President Oliver. With his deep commitment to the very ideals you hold dear and his bold vision for our students and our society, a seasoned administrator, pioneering social scientist, award-winning teacher, and a distinguished scholar, Dr. Oliver brings to Pitzer his nationally acclaimed leadership in both worlds of philanthropy and higher education, and his renowned expertise on social justice. From his leadership at the Ford Foundation to the scholarship of UCLA and UC Santa Barbara, he has worked tirelessly to address racial and economic inequality. Of note is his highly influential and award-winning book, Black Wealth, White Wealth, a powerful portrait of racial inequality. His ability to develop knowledge and apply it to real-world problem will be great assets to Pitzer and its mission. We at UC Santa Barbara know him well. He reshaped and enhanced the academic profile of social sciences on campus during his 12 years as dean, and also served as executive dean of the College of Letters and Science for 5 years. I can't help reminiscing about the day I received our search committee's unanimous recommendation to invite Dr. Oliver to become our Dean of Social Sciences. My wife and I were on the first flight to New York City, to meet with him and his lovely wife, Suzanne. I recall strolling together through Central Parks on that hot day, captivated as Dr. Oliver shared his passion for higher education. He knew I'm an engineer, so he customized his language to me, and he said, we will make this work. So today takes me back to that moment as his vision is further fulfilled. Yes, Melvin always makes it work. You will experience that. I speak for my colleagues in higher education as a former chairman of the Association of American Universities when I say that Pitzer College is immensely fortunate to have appointed an inspirational leader who upholds a strong commitment to excellence and diversity and an unwavering devotion to the virtues of higher education. So Melvin, UC Santa Barbara is very proud of you. Congratulations to you, both you and the Pitzer community.
Thank you, Chancellor Yang. Being a president of one of the Claremont colleges, or a dean for that matter, is not as lonely an occupation as it is in most places, because you have 6 colleagues that you work with regularly and compare notes with regularly. To give the greeting from our sister institutions in town, I'm pleased to introduce Hiram Chodosh, president of Claremont McKenna College and current chair of the Claremont College President's Council. Please welcome Hiram Chodosh.
Thank you, Nigel. This is the most awesome orange carpet I have ever seen. Chairman Shahan and members of the board, distinguished faculty, students, staff, and special guests, and especially President Oliver's family here today, I'm really honored and moved to represent the council to celebrate the inauguration of my close colleague and friend, Melvin Oliver, as the 6th president of Pitzer College, and formally to welcome him and Suzanne to the entire family to our community. This inauguration is a special, inspired moment for Pitzer and for the Claremont College's family. Unlike any other academic consortium in the United States, most of the Claremont colleges were founded and supported by pre-existing members of the group. We grew from one another. Scripps from Pomona and the Graduate School, CMC from both, Pitzer and Harvey Mudd and Keck and other members of the family. Our first president, at CMC, George Benson, was one of Pitzer's founding trustees. CMC English professor and dean of the faculty John Atherton served as Pitzer's first president. Before he became our third president, Jack Stark served as temporary assistant secretary to the board of Pitzer. Pitzer students ate in Collins Dining Hall for 4 years, and Pitzer's key leadership served in CMC's offices during that time. But there is more than just family that binds us. It is our shared purpose to put higher learning to the service of a greater good. Pitzer College was born from a commitment to improve the world, to put liberal arts to the grand purpose of addressing challenges in the human condition. And today, Pitzer College inaugurates a great president, an inspired and inspiring leader who personifies the college's institutional commitments as well as those of the Claremont colleges as a group. President Oliver has dedicated his career not only to the study of poverty and racial inequality, but also to their eradication. His award-winning, remarkable teaching career, his dedicated, renowned scholarship, his invaluable philanthropic and public policy contributions, his academic leadership at UCSB, and now here all speak to his generous spirit and piercing intellect, his engaged, even temperament, his courage to make critical observations and to step up to many reform challenges, his passion for teaching and learning, and his greater purpose to create a better world for future generations and the broader society. His leadership at the Claremont Colleges in Pitzer touches all of us. He inspires each of us in the council with his unwavering commitment to students, to his faculty, to his staff, to his entire community. He extends his wisdom and experience, his deep understanding and personal sacrifices to inform everything we do as a family of the Claremont Colleges. And for this, we're all very grateful to Pitzer and indebted to President Oliver. And for this, we congratulate each and every one of you on the inauguration of your outstanding 6th Pitzer president, our dear friend and colleague, Dr. Melvin Oliver. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Hiram. President Oliver has an extensive history working with leading foundations, not least the Ford Foundation, of course, and he will be working with them on our behalf very assiduously. To offer a greeting on behalf of foundations, I'm honored to welcome Sheldon H. Danziger, President of the Russell Sage Foundation and a research collaborator with President Oliver. Please welcome Sheldon Danziger.
Thank you. I've been a foundation president for less than 4 years, but I've known Melvin for about 30, so I'm going to talk about more than foundations in my short time. It's a great honor to be here. I first met Melvin on paper. I was on a selection committee for the Social Science Research Council's Committee for Research on the Underclass. There was this remarkable application from 2 young scholars who I did not know, Melvin Oliver and James Johnson. They proposed to launch an ambitious research and training program at UCLA. And from the very beginning, teaching and research were at its core. Shortly thereafter, Larry Bobo joined them. They were teaching undergraduates and graduates and engaging them in their research. And then here's the link to the foundation. They approached me. I was at the University of Michigan at the time, and a group of us, a large group of us, launched the Multi-City Study of Urban Inequality, which received very large grants from the Ford Foundation and the Russell Sage Foundation. It was an unusual project, collaborators and students from across the country, and we published books relating to inequality in Los Angeles, Detroit, Boston, and Atlanta. The books were published by Russell Sage. The Los Angeles book, Prismatic Metropolis by Bobo, Oliver, Johnson, and Valenzuela, included graduate student chapters, and I know Camille Charles is here from Pennsylvania today. The Russell Sage Foundation page notes, and this was there before I got there, the multi-city study of urban inequality was the foundation's largest single effort in the 1990s. It was aimed at finding out why high rates of joblessness have persisted among minorities living in central cities. The study found that skill and spatial mismatches tell only part of the story. Persistent racial barriers, especially employer bias against hiring racial minorities, constitute an even more significant challenge to the job prospects of inner-city workers. That was about 25 years ago. Unfortunately, low wages, rising inequality, racial and ethnic disparities remain pressing social problems today, not just in our inner cities, but across the country. It's been mentioned shortly thereafter. Melvin and his colleague Tom Shapiro published their seminal work, Black Wealth, White Wealth, which examines the racial wealth gap going back to slavery through federal housing policies of the New Deal and the post-World War II eras, and our failed efforts to reduce disparities in recent years. At about the same time, Melvin was invited to represent this study by making a presentation to the Ford Foundation Board of Trustees. I think this is what happens with Melvin. They invited him to speak, and he left as their vice president shortly thereafter. As people know, he's very impressive. Melvin set up a new program, Asset Building and Community Development, which put it into place in action programs, in research programs, in teaching programs, what he had learned in his research on his own and with his colleagues. To frame Melvin's influence, he was in charge not only of their domestic portfolio, but also their international offices. Melvin's influence in philanthropy was very impressive and lasting. His last annual budget at the Ford Foundation was 10 times my current budget at the Russell Sage Foundation. But at the Russell Sage Foundation, we like to say we punch above our weight, and I think that's what Melvin's going to do at Pitzer College. It's a small college. We're small relative to the Ford Foundation. Pitzer is small relative certainly to the University of Wisconsin and University of Michigan where I taught, but I'm sure Melvin is going to have it punch above its weight. Throughout his career as a distinguished teacher, scholar, researcher, foundation executive, and now dean and now college president, Melvin Oliver has been devoted to social justice. He brings to the presidency a depth of knowledge and appreciation for the realities of our current societal dilemmas, but also the historical context that shapes today's striking polarization. We need more college presidents like Melvin, who can provide the leadership that young people need to navigate our rapidly changing globalized world and to deal with conflicts and uncertainties. Let me also end with a personal note. Melvin's not just my distinguished colleague. My wife Sandra and I are close personal friends with Melvin and Suzanne, and enjoy nothing more than getting together and talking about our grandchildren. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheldon. One of Pitzer's core goals is to produce active citizens who are advocates for progressive social change. From the world of political engagement and advocacy, I am pleased to invite Angela Glover Blackwell, CEO of PolicyLink, to offer a greeting to President Oliver. Please welcome Angela Glover Blackwell.
Hello, this is so exciting and uplifting to be here to talk about these issues and to welcome Dr. Melvin Oliver into the community. And this community is so fortunate to have him. I know that Pitzer is so dedicated to social change and social justice and making sure that the young people who come out of here make their contribution to the world. You couldn't have a better person to be able to lead this institution because he so embodies those issues. He brings to everything he does a deep understanding that change happens in the world because of people. that we have to believe in people, but we also have to invest in people. I remember one of the early times that he and I had any serious dealings with each other was around an organization I wanted to start that wanted to reshape the way we talk about inclusion in America. And he took a chance on me, took a big chance on me. And that institution has been able to have an impact that it would not have had if there hadn't been generous support for someone who understood that the only reason to have a reputation is to risk it. As I have seen Melvin Oliver do his work, I'm most impressed by the work that he has done to invest in young people. While he was at the Ford Foundation, he launched a program called Leadership for a Changing World that identified scores of emerging leaders across the country who had not yet made their mark, and it was hard to really know if they were going to make it because they were so invested in change, so invested in social justice. Sometimes that energy can really spin out of control, and you don't get to make your contribution. But they chose well, they lodged the program at NYU, and as I have watched some of the people who have come through that program, like Paul Alvarado, who went on to found the National Day Labor Organizing Network, bringing to the fore and doing extraordinary work for some of the nation's most vulnerable. I also have seen Abby Shear, who has gone on to really focus through her academic work and through her journalism on economic justice as a very important issue. And David Kakashiba, who has been able to bring forward the issues that are impacting Asian communities. So many Asian young people get caught up in the myth of the model minority, that those who are suffering, those who are struggling, don't get the attention that they need. And David has been able to bring into the conversation about boys and men of color some of the Asian youth that really need to have attention focused on them. These programs that lift up those leaders that can make a difference and give them the support and the networking that they need. When I watched Dr. Oliver through his leadership at UCLA, he really transformed the teaching and the substance of what was happening around urban poverty, but also the process of being able to train people to get into that study. The mentoring that he did, the encouragement that he did. I saw young person after young person have the courage and the creativity to be able to step out in new ways. One of those was Maria Jackson, who, based on her belief that when you're revitalizing community, you have to pay attention to culture and art as well, she was able, out of whole cloth, to create a whole new discipline of art, culture, and community development. And President Obama recognized her leadership and placed her on the National Council of the Arts. Dr. Oliver understands that change happens not just because we have a good idea, not just because we're outraged at what exists, but because we invest in young people to help them believe in themselves, invest in their creativity, tell them this is worth pursuing, show them how to do it, connect them to each other, and then the world will change. Dr. Oliver understands that, and you are so fortunate to have him. Thank you.
Thank you, Angela. As a renowned sociologist, President Oliver has mentored many students throughout his distinguished academic career. To offer a greeting on their behalf today, please welcome one such mentee, Janelle S. Wong, Professor of American Studies and Director of the Asian American Studies Program at the University of Maryland.
Hello, Pitzer. 25 years ago, I was a UCLA freshman, an 18-year-old Chinese-American kid from one of the most rural and Republican parts of Northern California. In April of my sophomore year, a jury acquitted the police officers charged with using excessive force against black motorist Rodney King. LA's multiracial fabric was tearing apart. By my junior year, Pete Wilson was running a campaign still notorious for its anti-Latino, anti-immigrant policies and rhetoric, ushering in the era of Proposition 187. I could have emerged from these events like others from my very red hometown, believing that unruly rioters were burning down the city or that undocumented immigrants were invading California. But I didn't. I didn't because Melvin Oliver was my teacher. Instead, I viewed these events through the lens of structural racism and deep racial hierarchy as the product of racial wealth inequality, a tenacious racial order, nativism, and racial segregation. For one reason, because Melvin Oliver was my teacher. The term mentor does not even begin to describe the role that Melvin Oliver has played in our lives. He is more than a mentor. He serves as a life-changing source of intellectual and personal guidance, research training, inspiration, and commitment. I still treasure and consult the books he assigned and wrote. The words he spoke in the classroom more than 2 decades ago are still with me, so many others today. I have encountered Dr. Oliver's students around the country. My classmate, David Silver, went on to found a high school called Think College Now that focuses on improving access to education for first-generation kids. He is now Oakland's Director of Education. Saru Jayaraman went on to Yale Law School and Harvard's Kennedy School and became a national voice for worker rights, organizing tens of thousands of restaurant workers. Lourdes Castro Ramirez served as an assistant secretary at HUD under the Obama administration. We were his undergrads. And of course, Dr. Oliver taught so many of us here in this room who are now college and university professors. I still meet his undergraduate mentees, like a Santa Barbara undergraduate and McNair scholar who is now pursuing a PhD in my own department at Maryland. President Oliver has shown that the undergraduate experience is crucial, that undergraduates can learn and understand the most difficult concepts, that undergraduates will, with the right tools, go on to address the pressing problems in society. He has dedicated himself to equipping undergraduates with the research skills and critical intellectual approach necessary to devote their own lives to confronting systematic inequality in their own ways. Thank you, President Oliver, for changing my life and for the many sparks you have lit throughout your teaching and mentoring career, sparks that will continue to bloom and grow and catch fire into the future.
Thank you, Janelle. The Pitzer family is very well represented in the audience today, and their extraordinary foresight and generosity has been important throughout the history of the college and is represented in the form of Ken Pitzer on the board today as well. To offer a greeting from the Pitzer family, I'm honored to introduce the grandson of the founder, Russell K. Pitzer, Emeritus Trustee Russell M. Pitzer. Please welcome Russ Pitzer.
Well, as Nigel says, as a representative of the Pitzer family, we're delighted to be here today to welcome Melvin Oliver as the 6th president. There have been 4 generations of our family that have supported the college, and we hope that that tradition will continue for future generations in our family. And let's see, over the years, at the time of the founding of the college in 1964, my grandfather and I were the representatives of the family. There was no place here to hold the inauguration, so it was held in Bridges Auditorium at Pomona College. But the dedication for the first 2 buildings, which were named after my grandmother and my step-grandmother, was held right out here where those modules presently reside. And our guide for these affairs was a young first-year student named Debbie Deutsch, who subsequently, with a last name of Smith, became a trustee for many years and had a career as a professor of education. Well, over the years, there have been a number of interesting incidents that happened here. There was one involving a lemon tree disguised to be an orange tree. But rather than go through all of these at this point, I would want to keep Nigel's blood pressure from rising too high. So I will leave it at that and tell them at some other time. Thank you.
Thank you, Russ. Pitzer's focus on the global involves many important partnerships with colleges and universities around the world. To offer a greeting on behalf of these partners, I'm delighted to introduce Wasif Rizvi, President of Habib University, a new liberal arts college in Karachi, Pakistan, and in my opinion, the bravest experiment in liberal arts college education in the world right now. Please welcome President Rizvi.
Well, I'm one joke short because President Chodosh stole my orange carpet idea. Well, thank you, Nigel, for such a generous introduction. Thank you, Dr. Oliver, for giving me the honor of being invited to this extraordinary occasion and to be part of this magnificent group of speakers. 28 hours journey and figuring a way past U.S. immigration and customs with my passport and a distinctly Muslim name, it was all worth it. I met Dr. Oliver on his first day as the president of Pitzer College. That was July 8th, around 2 p.m. How I remember this with a timestamp precision? Yes, I promptly took a selfie with him. He was a vibrant young man at the time. And so was I. As Nigel mentioned, I'm here in my capacity as the founding president of the first liberal arts-centered university in Pakistan, Habib University. And we are honored to be one of the international partners of this great institution. Like everything in life, partnerships are full of stories. The story of Habib University's partnership with Pitzer is significantly older than the actual partnership. First time I visited Pitzer was 2015, I think. Many years before that, in 2009, we were in the midst of early planning for Habib University. Pakistan was in the midst of violent upheavals. That year and subsequent years after saw a manifold rise in terrorism. Karachi, where Habib University is located, alone saw 300 acts of terrorism and sectarian killing with 1,000 deaths in 2009, 2010. In the midst of all that, we proposed the idea of a contextualized liberal arts education which would directly engage our faculty and students with these tormenting questions of historical untruths, of ethnic, political, social, economic, and national identities, and crucially, a discourse on religion. The immediate questions we were confronted with: why? And who else? And I told my board the story of a fantastic young institution, which was only 47 years old in 2010, being born in 1963, which came into being during such times of upheaval and in a nation battling for its own soul at the time. vis-a-vis issues of civil rights, feminism, war, and so on. This young institution or young college did not insulate itself from this tumult when it easily could have been being tucked away somewhere in rural California. Instead, it chose to engage. It made a powerful point, and yes, Habib University has chosen to engage as a result. But this nexus was just the beginning. I'm thinking in few years from now, when Habib may be choosing another president, and the choice could be to go safe and find some Harvard Business School alum, sorry, Professor Bobo, with a global network of potential donors, or someone with a keen insight in structured, pernicious, ossified injustices and inequalities, someone with a daunting command on empirical data and facts, no matter what alternative facts may suggest, someone who would push the institution further in its mission of engagement with the hardest societal and global challenges, and someone who will inspire disparate and diverse groups of faculty, students, and larger community around these causes. In face of any such dilemma, the job of that would-be search committee has been made a lot easier. All they would have to say, see, Pitzer College picked one such president in 2016. Congratulations, Pitzer, in keeping the trail blazing. Thank you.
Thank you, Wasif. To deliver a greeting on behalf of the Pitzer College faculty, I invite up my colleague, Alicia Bonaparte, Associate Professor of Sociology, currently the elected chair of our elected Faculty Executive Committee. Please welcome Alicia Bonaparte.
Greetings, everyone, and welcome to this auspicious occasion. Dr. Oliver, in an interview for the PBS documentary Race, The Power of Illusion, stated, "We all want the things that can provide us with better life chances. We want to have an opportunity for education. We want to have good housing. We want to have good medical care. We want to make sure that the next generation is going to be better off than the previous generation." These are the words of a visionary leader, thinker, and leading sociologist, a person who clearly recognizes that social and civil rights are human rights. Pitzer College, we are fortunate to have a new president that embodies John F. Kennedy's words, quote, "Leadership and learning are indispensable to one another," end quote. For those of us who've had the opportunity to hear Dr. Oliver speak, whether in intimate or larger gatherings, he's fond of telling us that he's here to not only lead Pitzer into its next feats of greatness, but also to learn from our community as a whole. Truly, we have at our helm a scholar, activist, and forever student. As the Faculty Executive Committee Chair, I am grateful to work with and collaborate with Dr. Oliver. As a professor and as a member of the Pitzer community, I truly look forward to seeing how Pitzer College successfully evolves under Dr. Oliver's leadership. Thank you.
Thank you, Alicia. Pitzer's a young institution. It's about the same as me, so I think that's pretty young. This means we have a comparatively young alumni base, so it's appropriate that that to offer a greeting on behalf of the alumni today, we have a young alumnus, Tim Campos. Tim is the incoming chair of the Pitzer Alumni Board. Please welcome Tim Campos.
Sorry, I put my speech on my phone. Yeah, so in case I have to stop, it's because the screensaver went on for a second. But good morning, members of the Pitzer College community, Board of Trustees, faculty, staff, students, and friends of the college. It is with great pleasure that I'm here with you today on this momentous occasion in the history of the college, as we welcome the next president to one of what I believe the most progressive liberal arts institution in American higher education. As alumni, we are encouraged to challenge the status quo, and through a Pitzer College education, we receive the resources and the values to do just that. There is no doubt in my mind that under the leadership of Dr. Oliver, Pitzer College will continue producing alumni who will transform the world. On behalf of alumni, of the Alumni Board, the Alumni Association, and from one fellow first-generation sociologist, I want to welcome Dr. Oliver to the Pitzer College community. Thank you. Thank you, Tim. To offer a greeting on behalf of current students, I'm pleased to invite Senior Josue Pasillas forward. Pending a decision by the faculty here, Josue will graduate in May with a double major in urban studies and environmental analysis. Josue has been a wonderfully entrepreneurial president of Pitzer Student Senate, including spearheading a fantastic Senate-sponsored speaker series with a string of really impressive speakers, including presidential candidate Martin O'Malley and U.S. Senate candidate Loretta Sanchez. I'm not sure if there's such a thing as the Pasillas curse, but you'll notice that leading politicians who come here then lose the election that they're then fighting in. But in any event, please welcome Josue Pasillas.
Thank you, Dean Boyle. Good morning, everyone. On behalf of the student body, it is my honor and privilege to welcome President Melvin L. Oliver and his wife, Suzanne, to Pitzer College. With great joy and excitement, we entrust the college to your leadership, President Oliver. As some of our national and international political leaders in this country instill frustration and anger onto our campus and our communities, it is important now more than ever to be mindful of the future and uphold the mission of Pitzer College. We must welcome and support all students, no matter how they look, no matter how they pray, no matter where they're from. We must remain true to the values of Pitzer College and be a beacon of hope for all students who want to make our world a better place. I am confident that under the leadership of President Oliver, we will do just that and stand for what is just and progress forward. As a soon-to-be alumnus of this great college, I am glad that our institution will flourish under the leadership of a president who is a champion for social justice. President Oliver, there will be plenty of challenges. Some of them will come from students. We'll keep you busy for sure. But know that the Pitzer College Student Senate and the entire student body is here to work with you to make our campus and the world a better place. As a first-generation student, I want to be like you when I grow up. And on behalf of the student body, I welcome you and your wife, Suzanne, to the Pitzer College family. I wish you both a prosperous future and a joyous adventure at Pitzer College, your new second home.
Thanks, Josue. To offer a greeting on behalf of Pitzer College staff, including all those people who've worked so hard to make today possible, I'm pleased to invite up Kirsten Carrier, Director of Residence Life and Summer Programs. Kirsten serves as the co-chair of Pitzer's Staff Council. Please welcome Kirsten Carrier.
Thank you. President Oliver, on behalf of Pitzer College Staff Council and the over 230 members of Pitzer College staff, it's a privilege to welcome you to campus. Staff work alongside faculty and students to really live out Pitzer's core values on campus. Our hardworking staff serve sustainable meals in our wonderful dining hall, partner across departments to admit, enroll, retain, and graduate our students, keep our gorgeous cacti healthy, and our buildings running smoothly. They create vibrant student learning and leadership opportunities, provide a wide range of services that support the core mission of the college. We keep Host Way and Student Senate in line, of course, because someone has to. And, of course, we work behind the scenes many times, nights and weekends, to create wonderful on-campus events like the one here today. And together we dedicate ourselves to the same mission and values that draw our students and faculty to work at Pitzer. Since your arrival last July, it's been a privilege to see you navigate your role and forge lasting relationships with your many different constituents. And now that you've gotten your feet wet, it hopefully won't surprise you to hear that we don't exactly agree on everything all the time. Students, staff, and faculty bring many perspectives, whether it's at College Council or on the listservs. So how we work through these differences in order to build lasting relationships, work across difference, and create opportunities for dialogue surely are hallmarks of our particular form of shared governance here at Pitzer. We must continue to nurture this form of shared governance as we move forward together, always mindful of the future. And so, on behalf of the Pitzer College Staff Council, the many members of staff here at Pitzer, we welcome you and your wife Suzanne to campus as a member of our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Kirsten. And now I invite Shahan Sahikian, Chair of Pitzer's Board of Trustees, to come forward for the official investiture of President Oliver. Shahan?
On behalf of the Board of Trustees of Pitzer College, I present to you Dr. Melvin Lee Oliver, and certify that on December 2nd, 2015, in accordance with the articles and bylaws of the institution, he was elected president of the college. We present him for induction into this office today, March 25th, 2017. President Oliver, please join me at the podium. By virtue of the authority vested in me as chair of the Board of Trustees, it is my privilege and high honor to declare you, Melvin Lee Oliver, to be the 6th president of Pitzer College and entrust to you the rights and responsibilities thereto appertaining. Pitzer community, I present you the 6th president of Pitzer College, Dr. Melvin Lee Oliver.
To invite President Oliver to the podium to give his inaugural address, it is my honor now to welcome Professor Lawrence Bobo, the W.E. Du Bois Professor of Sociology and African American Studies at Harvard University. He's a prolific scholar whose work focuses on the intersection of social inequality, politics, and race. He's also an outstanding academic leader. Professor Bobo is an elected member of the National Academy of Sciences, as well as a fellow of the American Academy of Arts and Sciences and the American Association for the Advancement of Science. He's a Guggenheim Fellow, an Alphonse Fletcher Senior Fellow, a Fellow of the Center for Advanced Study in the Behavioral Sciences, and a Russell Sage Foundation Visiting Scholar. Please welcome Professor Lawrence Bobo.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Pitzer College. It is an extraordinary honor to be able to welcome and introduce my colleague and friend and your 6th president, Dr. Melvin L. Oliver. It's appropriate, I think, for us to view this in a large and global context and a local and more personal context. Higher education is challenged as never before. We have dislocations attended to a changing workplace driven by technological innovation and computerization. We have the most globally densely interdependent economy humans have ever known. Human action and now inaction threatens upheavals attended to climate change. Inequality between the rich and poor in the U.S. and other nations exceed that experienced even before the Great Depression. The movement of people around the globe due to both voluntary and involuntary immigration is creating situations of extraordinary humanitarian need and political turmoil. The world yearns for practical advice, for perspective on our times, and for thoughtful leadership. Colleges and universities, especially our liberal arts colleges like Pitzer, are increasingly pressed to establish their relevance to these challenges. The dilemmas of citizenship, of human meaning, of reflective engagement in the world around us, all the stuff of a general liberal education endure into the present. At times such as these, the Academy needs leaders of special accomplishment and capacity, individuals who both know how to speak to the practical needs of the world around them and how to draw sustenance and inspiration from the great ideals of the liberal arts education tradition. In selecting Melvin L. Oliver as its sixth president, Pitzer College has found just such a practical idealist, communicator, and institution builder. I like to say that Melvin Oliver is a classic triple threat. He is, first of all, an outstanding award-winning teacher, a communicator of unsurpassed skill and achievement. Great teachers, as I think we all know, exude several qualities: an immense capacity to connect with students, communicating instantly an interest in them as individuals, as well as faith in their capacity to grasp and make use of the subject matter at hand. Add to this his flair for sparking the curiosity and engagement of others, and a deep, passionate subject matter expertise, and you have the powerful mix of qualities that makes Melvin Oliver a great teacher. And thus it is fitting that he became the first University of California professor to receive the Carnegie Foundation Award for Outstanding Teaching. Melvin Oliver is, secondly, as a number of folks have already told you, a scholar of rare distinction and achievement. He has long been recognized as one of the leading voices on race and ethnic relations and socioeconomic equality in the discipline of sociology. As others have noted, his signal contribution comes in the book Black Wealth, White Wealth, A New Perspective on Racial Inequality with his colleague Tom Shapiro. This book is a remarkable piece of scholarly work. He received the Distinguished Scholarly Publication Award from the American Sociological Association, the highest honor the association confers. He also received the C. Wright Mills Award from the Society for the Study of Social Problems and the Outstanding Book Award from the Gustavus Myers Center for the Study of Human Rights. This book literally, and all you professors in the room know how remarkably hard this is to do, it literally changed how everyone has to do their work. That's how central and important and foundational it was. And it did so in a manner that tethered scholarship to the greater mission of social justice and equality. Thirdly, I would say, Melvin Oliver is also a visionary institution builder. He's an experienced and innovative administrator at multiple levels. He was a founding co-director of the Center for the Study of Urban Poverty at UCLA. Under his leadership, as you've heard, the center helped train a new generation of young scholars who were changing and diversifying the academy and its approach to issues of inequality. A major institution builder and leader at the Ford Foundation as well, making one of the largest grant awards the institution ever made and transforming its agenda on both domestic and international policy questions. And then he served a remarkable 12 years as Dean of Social Sciences at Santa Barbara. And it was delightful last night to see two tables of folks both bemoaning the departure from Santa Barbara, but celebrating his many, many powerful lasting achievements and relationships that he built. And then to round this out, as I think you were all learning as you meet more and more often with Melvin and his lovely wife, Suzanne, Melvin is a marvelously human and remarkably engaging person. To meet Melvin is to at once be struck by his steadiness, his intelligence, his compassion, and his genuine warmth, and that just stunning smile. He is neither haughty nor bookish, nor in any measure the aloof academic. Those of us who have been lucky enough to fall into his orbit of friendship relish his wisdom, his company, and his good companionship. He's taught and inspired countless students. His work has altered how the discipline of sociology thinks about the most basic questions and processes of social inequality. He has a proven track record as an administrator and builder of rare breadth of experience and success as a scholar, as a foundation leader, as an academic dean and administrator, and now we would very much expect as a university or college president. He has a proven track record in each of these domains. Brilliant teacher, as we like to say at Harvard, a scholar of the first order of eminence, and a gifted administrator. It really touches me profoundly to be able to welcome to the podium my dear friend, Melvin Oliver.
Good morning. It's a good morning. To members of the Board of Trustees, to faculty, emeriti faculty, students, staff and administrators, and alumni, it's a great honor for me to join you at this remarkable institution. There's so many people to thank whose efforts have made today possible, and for reasons of time, I just cannot name you all. But please know the great appreciation I have for all that you have done to make this week and day a very, very special time. I must recognize the amazing co-chairs of the Inauguration Committee, Nigel Boyle and Mark Bailey, the dedicated Inauguration Committee, my executive assistant, Melanie Lacey, and Mark Krabach, and the Pitzer facility staff. Without the coordinated efforts of this group, the events of this week would not have been possible. As you noted in your program, Nigel Boyle is listed as the Interim Vice President of Academic Affairs and Interim Dean of the Faculty. I want to correct that. He is now officially Vice President of Academic Affairs and Dean of the Faculty. Congratulations, Nigel. Congratulations, Pitzer. I am ennobled by the presence of each and every one of you, but I am especially humbled that many of you have come far and wide to celebrate this day with me and Pitzer College. This includes friends, relatives, former students, colleagues, co-authors, and mentors from places as distant as my high school career, my college, graduate school, UCLA, and UCSB, amongst other places. I am here in great part because of the belief you had in me. The belief that I could grow emotionally, intellectually, and ethically, and that I would use those gifts to support others. Thank you for your belief in me. Finally, I want to thank my best friend, my wife, my partner in life, Suzanne Loff Oliver. I want to thank her for her support, her strength, her laughter. Every day she's my MVP in the game of life. It is truly an honor to be standing before you on this, one of the most auspicious days in the life of Pitzer College. Presidential inaugurations are not only about the newest president, but also about connecting the history of the college to the present. Thus, I stand as the 6th president of Pitzer College in relation to the preceding 5. John Atherton, Robert Atwell, Frank Ellsworth, who is here. Do we have Frank? Marilyn Massey, and Laura Trombley. I feel a powerful sense of purpose, perhaps even destiny, being here with you today. Like Pitzer, I am a product of my time, idealistic, committed, and energized. My parents cared deeply about the future and instilled in me an abiding connection to values of empathy, higher truths, and hard work in service to others. My life experience and passion for understanding social inequality drove me to college and beyond. For more than 4 decades, I have studied, researched, taught, and collaborated with academic, social, philanthropic, and academic leaders to map the frontiers of social inequality in America and beyond, to develop solutions to seemingly intractable problems. My journey of discovery has paralleled Pitzer's exploration of intercultural values and its rise to leadership position as a liberal arts institution of higher education. Separately, Pitzer and I have invested ourselves in understanding the human need for recognition, cultural identity, and the untapped power in new and evolving cultural intersections. Today, with my inauguration, we come together to collaborate on the exciting next era of one of America's leading and most innovative models of the liberal arts, Pitzer College. Forged in the tumultuous 1960s, Pitzer College has always reflected that era's countercultural turn with its revolution in social norms surrounding clothing, music, drugs, dress, and sexuality. But it also reflects the decade's troublesome history with authority and power. Deep questions about the meaning of American democracy, colonization, military interventions, and at home, the denial of civil rights to minorities and equal rights for women. The college that Russell Pitzer launched was nurtured in a milieu of conflict, of contradictions, of mass movements, and irrepressible passion. Pitzer's founders shared a sense of passionate engagement. It is an enduring feature of Pitzer College to this day. A passionate sense of engagement, first, for what the college's founding president, John Atherton, called the constant search for truth and freedom. Second, for a style of college governance that involved every constituency and which Time magazine called at the time tumultuously democratic. Third, a passionate commitment to the notion that genuine education can be marshaled to address the forces of bigotry, racism, ignorance, and repression, but only in the context of an open community which encourages free inquiry and stimulates individual development and social responsibility. These passionate engagements remain at the core of Pitzer College. They animate much of what we do, and our faculty, staff, and students remain committed to them. As I examined the early history, I looked for signs that diversity and inclusion were part of that passionate engagement. As you might expect, 1963 was just the beginning of what would become the effort to racially diversify the nation's colleges and universities. But John Atherton, the first president, was beginning to think about diversity, albeit in different ways. Pitzer was a pioneer in hiring scholars from the socio-behavioral sciences. About a third of the original faculty were women, and Jewish faculty at Pitzer College far outnumbered those at the other Claremont colleges. In 1966, however, Pitzer took an unprecedented step of hiring the first African-American faculty member in the Claremont colleges. Dr. William Russell Ellis, a sociologist, and as the first African-American president of Claremont College, I am proud that Dr. Ellis is here with us to close this amazing circle. Dr. Ellis. Dr. Ellis stayed at Pitzer for 3 years and then went on to an illustrious career at University of California, Berkeley. He and I became friends when he visited UCLA, his alma mater, and I was teaching in that department where he got his PhD. So thank you for coming. This is a very, very, very special time for me and Pitzer, and we are just so excited that you were here. He was followed by Dr. Agnes Moreland Jackson, the first tenure-track African-American woman at Pitzer. Dr. Jackson was instrumental in establishing the Black Studies and Women's Studies departments for the Claremont colleges. Unfortunately, Dr. Jackson is not able to be here today, but I really wanted to acknowledge her many contributions. Today, Pitzer College stands passionately committed to diversity and inclusion for faculty, students, and staff. The dimensions of diversity now include not only race, gender, and ethnicity, but also national origin as well as sexuality. These passionate engagements underscores Pitzer's purpose to produce engaged, socially responsible citizens of the world through an academically rigorous, interdisciplinary liberal arts, emphasizing social justice, intercultural understanding, and environmental sensitivity. The evolution of Pitzer College from its founding to now has been nothing short of astounding. Enrollment growth, high national rankings, innovative majors and creative programs of study, award-winning study abroad programs, #1 in Fulbright Awards per capita in the nation, and award-winning faculty. However, at a time when the liberal arts are being questioned for their relevance, it is important that we reaffirm our commitment to the transformative power of liberal arts. At the same time, it is important that we assess and evaluate our goals and the mechanisms we use to accomplish them in ways that ensure that our pedagogies are effective and meaningful, our curriculum sound, and our focus germane to the increasing complexity of the world in which we live. In a world where it is predicted that closure of liberal arts colleges will triple in the coming years, I am confident that Pitzer College will continue to have a long and respected future if we meet the challenges and opportunities head on. We need to think about the future of Pitzer to realize our dreams and aspirations. We need to ask, how do we take the passion and purpose that is Pitzer's legacy into the future? I suggest that this requires us to look carefully and critically to the dialectic of continuity and change. We have invested for years to achieve our current structure and set of operational processes. They have served us well. However, as we think of how to meet new challenges, do new and different things, we have to think about what needs to be changed, how we move to the next equilibrium that will allow us to be successful and to prosper. Let me give you several examples of how we need to take our passion and purpose into Pitzer's future. First, we must reaffirm our commitment to the liberal arts. Pitzer College was founded with an emphasis in the socio-behavioral sciences, and it's developed an academic reputation for creative interdisciplinary scholarship and curriculum. An example has been the way the arts and humanities have been integrally assimilated into our work on environmental analysis using an interdisciplinary focus in ways that have produced an exciting and innovative academic program. Our commitment to social justice and social responsibility courses throughout our curriculum and our academic focus. We are producing engaged citizens to make the world a better place. Students who assimilate information through the analytical lens of the socio-behavioral sciences, who research and evaluate purported factual claims through established scientific methods, and students who communicate and apply them to major social issues. Today, we have a world linked through the internet that creates all sorts of possibilities for how we engage social justice issues. The mobilization of constituencies through the internet has revolutionized our political process. However, increasingly the internet, particularly social media, leads to a debasement of our civil dialogue with anonymous and ad hominem attacks, threats, and harassments. Our challenge for the future is, how do we give our students both the skills and the moral sensibilities to engage in effective civil dialogue in pursuit of social justice in a globalized and digitally connected world. Second, we must reaffirm our commitment to environmental sustainability. Our focus on environmental sustainability is a commitment expressed in our campus architecture and grounds, our interdisciplinary environmental academic focus, and our institutional practice. We are proud to have been one of the first colleges in the nation to divest from our endowment from fossil fuel investments. The opening of the Robert Redford Conservancy for Southern California as a site for investigation, dialogue, and debate further enriches our opportunities to be a resource for environmental justice and promote sustainable environmental policy. An important part of that effort is the growing role of Keck Science. Increasingly, students at Pitzer College are focusing on science or science-based majors like environmental analysis. Indeed, about 1 in 3 of our students at the junior year declare for one of these majors. And for Black and Latinx students, biology is the largest major. Now, this is a major change at Pitzer College. Our challenge is how do we ensure that our students have access to world-class facilities and outstanding instruction in the biological and natural sciences so they can address environmental problems, healthcare access, and medical research and practice in a social justice context. Third, we must reaffirm our commitment to intercultural understanding. A key dimension of Pitzer College's education is providing students with the ability to transcend the biases of one's lived experience and preconceived notions and incorporate the perspectives and worldview of other cultures. Pitzer students are able to use both insider and outsider knowledge to navigate whatever issue they explore. As the world becomes increasingly globally interconnected, this ability to not only understand our culture, but to create intercultural understanding is one of the greatest assets for students in the future. Students not only learn in the classroom, but in engagement with various communities, from local governance at Pitzer to the structured community engagement programs that bring our students into prisons and local communities and institutions, that enable our students to learn and be taught by those closest to the problems. Pitzer students become partners with others to address problems of racism, gender violence, social justice, the criminal justice system, environmental justice, and other issues. We learn the humility that comes from working with and learning from those whose lives are most affected by social and economic inequality, racism, sexism, to name only a few dimensions of oppression. Community engagement and study abroad are increasingly important. The challenge is how do we more effectively structure these experiences in ways that give students the tools they need to become engaged global citizens. Finally, we must reaffirm our commitment to diversity and inclusion. Pitzer College has made substantial progress promoting diversity and inclusion in our curriculum, among our faculty, students, and staff. Yet we have far more to do. Our economic resources have limited our ability to diversify our student body racially and economically. Now, more than ever, this is not an option. It's a necessity. We must reassert our moral obligation to be a ladder of social mobility for the dispossessed, the first-generation students, while simultaneously creating a community of learners that are economically and socially stratified. Without this, we will continue to recreate the polarized interactions between affluent and less affluent students. Our challenge is to create the kind of diversity that provides each student with a true reflection and engagement with what the real world is like. Now, these challenges require us to make choices, to focus our energies anew, and to align our resources in strategically smart and effective ways. They are not easy challenges to meet, but they are a natural extension of both our history and our current commitments that have continued to serve us so well to define us as a unique and outstanding college. As Pitzer College's 6th president, I accept these challenges. I am comforted by my sense that the strength of Pitzer lies in its commitment to a mission whose value today is more important than ever. In a world of alternative facts, we need rigorous analysis of the facts from a multidisciplinary perspective. In a world of absolutist and polarizing thinking, we need open inquiry that incorporates multiple perspectives in the search for elusive truths. In a world of debased dialogue, we need the communicative competence to lead civil discourse that reflects the humanistic values embedded in the world's great philosophic and religious traditions of mutual respect, the sanctity of the individual, and the mutual interdependence of humanity. I ask you, join me on this journey as Pitzer College moves toward its next era of Provida Futuri. Thank you.
I draw your attention to this insert now, and as I invite Jonathan DeCure and his friends to lead us in the singing of the National Black Anthem, Lift Every Voice and Sing.
Voice and sing till earth and heaven ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling seas. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us to sing. A song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of a new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won. Victory is won.
We trod bitter the chastening rod, felt in the days when hope unborn had died, yet with a steady marching weary feet come to the place for which our fathers sighed. We
bright gleam of our bright star is cast. God of our weary years, God of our silent tears,
Thou who hast brought us thus far on the way, Thou who hast by Thy might led us into the light, keep us forever in the path we pray.
lest our feet stray from the places, our God, where we met Thee, lest our hearts, drunk with the wine of the world, we forget Thee. Shadowed beneath Thy hand, may we forever stand, true to our God, true to our native, true to our native land.
Rabbi and Professor Arthur Gross Schaefer of Loyola Marymount University and the Community Shul of Montecito and Santa Barbara will now offer the benediction.
I am the 17th speaker, so I'm the one between you and food, but I understand that role. It's an honor to be here with your new president and my friend. We'll miss you in Santa Barbara, but you will visit us. Here is my prayer for Pitzer College at this new beginning, that this community of students, faculty, and staff build Rumi's Field. You've never heard of Rumi's Field? It's not an athletic field, it's a virtual field. So I ask you to let me take you to that field for just a moment. Would you please put your feet on the ground firmly? And I invite you to close your eyes with me. I want you to imagine you're up in the high Sierras on a gorgeous day, not a cloud in the sky, no rain being forecast, and you're hiking, and it's gorgeous, and come to a meadow. Describe that meadow in your mind. It's beautiful, butterflies, no mosquitoes, it's great. But you see something very strange. In the center of that field are pillars. So you're curious, so you walk towards those pillars, and you see that there are writings inscribed on those very beautiful rock pillars, 5 feet high, 4 feet high. And the first one you read, "If we have no peace, we have forgotten that we belong to each other," Mother Teresa. You see another pillar. "It takes courage to stand up and speak. It takes courage to sit down and listen," Winston Churchill. Behind that, another one. "The opposite of love is not hate, it is indifference." Next to that, "My religion is simple, it is kindness," Dalai Lama. And the final pillar, "Out beyond ideas of right doing and wrong doing, there is a field where I will meet you," Rumi. And you realize this is Rumi's Field, a place where all may come in safety and in peace. So open your eyes and look around this community of faculty, of students, and of staff at really a remarkable college, a truly remarkable college, now being led by a truly amazing president. I therefore pray that this community, which has always embraced and celebrated cultural diversity and intercultural understanding, appreciative of each other's story to continually build Rumi's field here, out beyond ideas of wrongdoing or right-doing, a field where we can meet together, to construct bridges of understanding over our fears, a place that does welcome safely intellectual discourse. Now that's a field worth building with your president, and that is what I really pray for this community. Amen.
Thank you, Rabbi. For the recessional now, please remain in your places as first the platform party file out and then the faculty, delegates, and trustees. There will be a receiving line and some refreshments down in the lower tent, so we ask everyone to join us down there. Thank you.